Guys, so I just wanted to make this video today. I know I haven't made a video in a while, and I know I keep on trying to come up with new ideas, but I think I've talked about this before, but what I really want to talk about is kinda, and again, you could see it from the views on my channel and the followers and likes I get, is people don't really talk about world governance. Even in school, in the academic community, it's not talked about that much. Global governance more talked about, like how do we deal with between different states and dealing with different rules of law and peace, and like people are talking about World War III very close. You get 90 seconds to midnight, the nuclear doomsday clock. We're very at a divided world, and no one but me really is talking about world government, and it's always strange in a sense, but I think it's concepts I've talked about before. People take for benefit that the way society is not because that's the way it's meant to be. It's just circumstances that let that happen. Like this world, our states and countries, it just happened. Yes, we have historical reasons, but just because of our history doesn't mean we are forced to be there. Just because Canada has a long history of being here doesn't mean Canada should still exist. And it's the same thing with many countries around land rights. Like, it's land, it's Mother Nature. It shouldn't belong to anybody in that sense. It should belong to everyone, including animals and life. And I think that's one of the weird preconceptions that we have about society. I think it comes from politics and certain philosophy, like John Locke and things like that. But I think it's mainly because this issue isn't brought up, because a lot of our mainstream media is politicized and is paid for by certain people or governments. And I think it's why this issue is not really allowed out. And like, even though I'm like, am I shouting my hand? Am I not getting out there? Because I'm talking about such I guess divisive and not really talked about issue. Because I think my solution is really, we talk about world peace and dealing with things like about war. Like World War I was really the war to end all wars. It was about peace, and not once in the history of the world has a war led to all for peace. Like it's always another war ends up. Like we may have brief periods like we've had between World War II and now, but we're really roughing it up. And it's not even there's been no wars. It's been because we're such Eurocentric, and we're still going on past ideologies like man and woman, gender roles that have really been debunked, and we still go by them. And I think it's really not helped our fact as a culture. I think we're really going down the wrong hill, and I think this influence and impact on individualism and nationalism, things like that, or like individualism is a really big problem because people aren't wanting to work together. Collectivism and nationalism, like nationalism is on the rise. Populism is the new ideology, and it's very close to fascism, and it's on the rise again, even though we should be learning from this. And it's because we're such on the country, and freedom, and people should be free to do what they want, even though a lot of these people who are free are going on other people, and these conservative governments for the middle and for free, they're tearing down LGBT rights. They're making it better for corporations and not the middleman. And I mean, not the common man. And I think, and even man instead of human or humanity. And we have, even like, we assign gender to dogs when that's just the reproductive things. It doesn't mean that's what they think. And I don't even think they're intelligent enough to know male and female. They're just dogs, or just animals. And I think it's the problem with that is we tend to go, well, this is the way, and even our ideas, we then put it onto other ideas. But really, I think the main problem is this, like, people should have a free will to not worry about freedom, to not worry about being shot or stabbed on the street, should not have to worry about the fact that you were born in a country can mean that your rights are denied or you can't be what you want. And I think we're going against basic, if you look at psychology, the more alike a people are and the more like a society is, the more easier they get along. And I think with all this AI, all this genetic editing, and the more we learn about genetics, I think we could really change the world to be a more place that people are more similar. Like I said, like an androgynous, asexual, people that look very similar to each other, so that we have a lot less divisiveness than we see today. And I think we really do need at least a world government with laws and restrictions in place to keep a free society. Because the problem is not free speech. What speech can do is incite violence. So when you're talking bad about certain types of people, that really goes along with that, could end up someone being influenced by that and hurting others. So I think this concept of people should have the freedom to do what they want, we've seen how that works, and it hasn't worked out, and it's a very dangerous and hostile place, and people just speaking without worrying about ramifications and really hurting other people just because they want to, and because we're not educating people enough, and we're just such like this really weird focus on family. Like in Animal Kingdom, it's all about society, the community, not the family. And it's why we see all this decisiveness, because even though we might be trying to root out racism, homophobia, transphobia, it's still being learned through the families. And if we keep on influencing through the families instead of the government taking more control, and like if you watched my previous videos, it's about having a special place just for children who are taught by people, by AI, and really have a much easier life through education, is that they're all taught the same thing. So then we don't have to worry about any differences. They're all disciplined the same way. So we don't have these differences that divide people. And we have people who are educated and learn the same stuff. Now their opinions may waver, because even though we're all taught the same stuff, we view different opinions. But at least people aren't being told outright lies and it's covered as facts. Like Prager University, what they teach, complete lies. It's research has proven what they're saying is not true at all, and yet it's still allowed to be said out there. And I think that's the real problem, is misinformation is a pinnacle of free speech. And I think people who really want a better world need to learn that, and we need to say things that even I myself would go, oh, well, you must love, like, I don't like it. I'd rather have free will and free speech. But we realize it's not working. People have to be told this truth and to realize this is what's best. It's not what I want. It's what's best for everybody. I think we need to get to that collectivistic mindset and community, because the more individual we get and the more free speech we get on social media, the more depression, the more suicide. I think it's realized this is not how we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be a communal species. We're not a solo species like some animals are. We are communal species. And the way the world is, we are more divided than ever.